Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Adapting a successful book series into movies is no easy task, especially when it's the Harry Potter saga. Harry Potter is full of rich world building, magical creatures, and detailed storytelling. J.K. Rowling's 7 fantasy novels are also home to over 700 wonderful characters, each with its own excited fans who wanted to see them on screen. Given this large number, many of the characters have remained trapped in the novel's pages. Some characters were unable to make their film debuts despite being fan favorites or playing important roles in the story. What's that? The character should have been in such a movie, but due to lack of time, he could not fit in the movie. He did not get a chance in the movie, but in the upcoming series. Hi guys, my name is Arpit and you watching Certified Potterheads. If you new in this channel, please press the subscribe button. It's really motivated me for make another video. Let's start the video. Number 10, Charlie Weasley. Surprisingly enough, one of the key members of the iconic Weasley family never made his appearance in the Harry Potter film franchise. The second oldest of the Weasley bunch is arguably one of the coolest, which is why it stinks that he's mentioned all across the films but never shown in the books. Harry first meets Charlie before the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. From this moment forward, Charlie would have a few incredibly crucial contributions to the series that only add to the confusion of why he wasn't included in the cinematic rendition of the story. Ron mentions his brother's work in Romania with dragons once in the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire film, but in the books, Charlie isn't just a Weasley family member off doing his own thing in Romania. He was actually the man who supplied the dragons for the Triwizard Tournament. When it came time to re-establish the Order of the Phoenix, Charlie joined alongside the rest of his family and was a huge recruiter for their cause. Rather than coming to the rest of the Order, Charlie stayed in Romania where he traveled around and recruited as many foreign wizards as he possibly could for the coming battle. Finally, when the Battle of Hogwarts erupted, Charlie arrived in the nick of time with hundreds of reinforcements about halfway through the battle and completely turned the tide in Hogwarts' favor. When the Harry Potter reboot comes around, it's time to put some respect on Charlie Weasley's name. Number 9, Professor Binns. Humans aren't the only kind of people that teach at Hogwarts. Spirits do as well, thanks to Professor Cuthbert Binns. In the books, Professor Binns was the professor for the History of Magic class at Hogwarts when he died of old age in the Hogwarts staff room. But to make matters stranger, when Professor Binns woke up the next morning for class, he didn't even realize he was actually dead until he appeared in class as his ghostly self. Professor Binns didn't let death stop him and simply continued to teach as a ghost. Professor Binns was quite the expositional character in the books and was never truly important to the overarching story. In Harry and Co.'s first year at Hogwarts, they'd be placed into Professor Binns' class. Harry always regarded the class as the most boring one due to Professor Binns' hands-off teaching approach, simply reading off the lessons and expecting students to just take notes. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Professor Binns would teach Harry's class about the legend of the Chamber of Secrets. This moment in the books would be taken from Professor Binns and given to Professor Minerva McGonagall, a more important character in comparison. Number 8, Peeves. While the Harry Potter series, both in literature and film, initially began as light-hearted stories aimed more at children, they don't stay light-hearted for long. When Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire comes around, the series finds a major tonal change and things in the wizarding world become a lot more serious, making it hard to find much wit or comedy in such dark times. But the books had a character that was made specifically to do just that. Peeves the Poltergeist began the series as a character roaming about Hogwarts that just loved to make the lives of students harder, especially one Harry Potter. While some fans may write Peeves off as a nonsensical character made just to be a jerk to Harry, he is so much more than that on a thematic level. When the series gains a more serious tone, Peeves is frequently used as a light in the dark. Just when things felt like they were a downer, Peeves would hop onto the scene to make the readers laugh and remind them that the fun, light-hearted tone of the first 3 books was not long gone. Peeves was actually supposed to be featured in the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone film and went as far as being cast, with actor Rick Mayall aimed to portray him before his scenes were cut. Number 7, Winky. After being let go as the house elf for the Crouch family, when she was caught in a suspicious situation. The fan-favorite Dobby the house elf helped get Winky a job in Hogwarts kitchens. Due to her intensive depression from being let go as the Crouch family house elf, Winky became a drunk and had zero intention of doing any work with her fellow elves in the kitchens. Winky's plot initially seemed like a small plot to give Dobby more characterization, and while her story did that as well, it ended up being something much more harrowing. When the Triwizard Tournament's terrible events instigating Death Eater was caught, Winky was suspiciously called down to Professor Moody's office by none other than Dumbledore. It was here that Winky's role in the story found its true place. Winky would be told that the Death Eater they caught was none other than her former master, Barty Crouch Jr., the son of her former master, Barty Crouch Sr. Her situation would grow more distressing when she'd be informed that Barty Crouch Sr. was actually murdered by Barty Crouch Jr., so Winky's role in the plot expanded to more than just a side plot for Dobby, but an avenue to bring more context to the events of the Triwizard Tournament. As depressing as it may be, Winky was actually so ingrained in the backstory of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire that she was heavily considered to be placed in the movie, with official concept art of her circulating around the internet. Number 6. Andromeda. Keen fans of the Harry Potter films most likely picked up on her existence when she appears on the Black Family Tree. So, while her character never officially appears in the film, her existence is recognized. Andromeda Tonks was once known as Andromeda Black when she was born into the Black family, being the middle sister between Bellatrix and Narcissa, while Sirius Black is commonly known as the rebel of the Black family, being disowned. Andromeda also suffered the same fate when she married Ted Tonks, a Muggle-born man. Due to her family's dedication to the idea of being pureblood, Andromeda was disowned and went her own way in life. She would go on to be an ally to the Order of the Phoenix due to her daughter, Nymphadora, being a member. She and Ted allowed their home to be used as a safe house for the Order of the Phoenix to give aid. In the books, when Harry and Hagrid needed to seek shelter after Hagrid sustained injuries in the Battle of the Seven Potters, they would retreat to the Tonks' home. Number 5. Phineas Black. Featured in Books 5 to 7. Another one of the children born into the House of Black. Phineas Black only found major influence on the Harry Potter story after he had died and been hung as a portrait in both the Hogwarts headmaster's office and the family home of the Black family. Thanks to the nature of portraits in the Harry Potter universe, the sentient version of Phineas within them actually had the ability to move between the two locations. When the Black family home eventually became the base of the Order of the Phoenix, Phineas' unique ability would come in handy as they prepared for the battle to come against Voldemort. Additionally, during the events of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry would get messages from Dumbledore through the portrait located in the Black home. Number 4. Ludovic Bagman. When Harry was mysteriously entered into the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Ludovic Bagman was one of his biggest supporters as he competed to win the day, but not for the most noble of reasons. Before he would meet Harry, Ludovic was known well around the wizarding world as irresponsible and idiotic. After the first war against Voldemort, Ludovic was put on trial for supplying information to a Death Eater. He was let off and found innocent, primarily due to his high-profile status as a Quidditch player. He was also a known gambler who frequently attempted to use deceit to weasel his way out of situations in order to not pay up when he needed to. When he met Harry in the Triwizard Tournament, he would bet highly on the boy to win in order to pay a debt he owed to the goblins. Frequently throughout the tournament, he would attempt to offer Harry information that the young wizard consistently refused, as it would certainly be cheating. After Harry and Cedric Diggory technically tied for the win, even with Cedric dying in the process, the goblins didn't take a tie as a win for Harry, and Ludovic had to go into hiding. Ludovic's inclusion in the films would have been another great way to show Harry's good heart and character. Number 3. Frank and Alice Longbottom. Featured in Book 5. While they may not physically appear in the Harry Potter film franchise, Neville Longbottom's parents, Alice and Frank's presences are still felt through their son's undying love for them. Both were once members of the original iteration of the Order of the Phoenix, both being responsible for countless arrests and captures of members of Voldemort's army. But unfortunately, due to this, They lost their lives when they were brutally tortured to sheer madness and became permanently incapacitated in S.A. Mungo's hospital for magical maladies and injuries. Neville's parents add a major layer of depth to his character in the books and provide more context for his relationship with his grandmother, Augusta. The moment in the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix film when Neville notes his parents' role in the original order and vows to make them proud, is far more effective in the book. With depth added to the Longbottom family, Neville's character traits and actions make far more sense and have more impact with the inclusion of his parents' lore and would certainly have aided his film adaptation. Number 2. Marietta Edgecombe. Remember when Cho gets the blame for ratting out Dumbledore's army in Order of the Phoenix? Well, this isn't how it goes down in the books. In the books, the real culprit is Cho's friend, Marietta Edgecombe of Ravenclaw. However, Marietta is nowhere to be found when watching the movie. In the books, Marietta rats out on Dumbledore's army to the despicable Dolores Umbridge in fear of the possible repercussions to her parents working at the Ministry. This is, however, the only impactful thing Marietta does in the books, so her absence is not missed in the movie. The movie actually flows better by instead making Cho the snitch. It provides a clean cut in both her relationship with Harry and her appearances in the movies moving forward. Finally, number 1. The Gaunts, and personally my favorites. Voldemort may be known as one of the best villains in the fantasy film genre, but he's even more effective and fleshed out in the book series due to the frequent inclusion of his maternal family, the House of Gaunt, within the flashbacks to Voldemort's past. When Harry and Dumbledore look into the past, Harry is horrified by many of the things he sees within the villain's origin story that add a plethora of profundity to Voldemort's character and his existence in the wizarding world. One of the most terrifying things Harry witnesses is the fact that Merrippy Gaunt, Voldemort's mother, actually magically manipulated the mind of Tom Riddle and made him her husband. She used this marriage to flee her home and the abuse from her father and brother within it. When Voldemort was conceived, Merrippy released Tom from his mind prison, in hopes he would stay because he had grown to truly love her or for the sake of his soon-to-be newborn child. But he was actually mortified at what had happened and fled home to his family. The family also happens to be very delighted descendants of Salazar Slytherin, meaning they all had mastered Parseltongue. The bone-chilling stories that make up the Gaunts family history add countless layers of depth to Voldemort's character that would only have made him an even greater character in the films.